Welcome. They can't cover this up. That's what the title. I'll get to that in a second. But I'm joined by I'm joined by Eleanor Goldfield, and this is, you probably know it as the Moment of Clarity live stream, but this is the Common Censored version. That's also a podcast called Common Censored, and we're going to cover a bunch of stories today, but we're going to start off with the blatantly Nazi patch that Zelensky's guards were wearing, and he then tried to scrub from the internet, but couldn't get it down quick enough, which is the opposite of the problem you have in the sack usually. So then, just as a little side note, we're gonna throw in that story from 2 weeks ago or something, since it's related, about Jon Stewart giving a gold medal to a Nazi with a Nazi tattoo on his body.
See, friends, this is why it's important to familiarize yourself with the various Nazi symbols floating around. So when you see someone
we're gonna have
a giant tattoo on their arm, you can be like, aha.
We're gonna have a little get to know you seminar for Nazi symbols. But this is what happens when you fund and arm Nazis and work with Nazis, and really, when the U.S. government is doing that, it's funny how you fund and arm Nazis, you end up hanging out with Nazis. I don't know why that is. Anyway, we're gonna get to that in a second as well. Several other stories coming up. And then I'm not gonna give it all away. Well, I like for people to know that we got a bunch. We're not just doing this one thing. I'm gonna play. It's from a year or two ago, but it's just an amazing, brutal destruction of Piers Morgan, mainstream media piece of shit, talking about Winston Churchill being a racist. And I thought it was good to play it now because there's a lot going on with the Queen, and I covered that in the past live stream about people who are criticizing the Queen are getting attacked and arrested in Britain right now. And of course, she is a colonialist, imperialist, all of those things. I
just love this comment. I never thought I'd have to learn World War II symbols for real life. Touche, my friend. It's bizarre times, strange times to be alive.
And the other thing is, thank you, Robin, for pointing this out in the comment section. I am not good with dates. I don't often know what day it is or the year, really. And they pointed out that it is Occupy's birthday today. Occupy Wall Street started, 11 years ago today? And I was at the first day in New York City in Zuccotti Park. And those were some, I believe the term is heady times. Those were some times of dreaming big that large scale change could happen. And I, just to throw this out there, we don't have to spend long on Occupy. I feel like we've discussed it, but while obviously the large scale change that we were dreaming of did not take place, I don't think that Occupy was meaningless. I think it has had an ongoing ripple effect that is really important, both from the way we talk about things, people realizing the mainstream media is garbage, people waking up in just a bunch of different ways. So I don't think it was, a failure of bullshit at all. Yes, if you want to look at the highest aims of Wall Street, it failed to achieve those.
Well, but in that case, everything ever has been a failure.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, happy birthday, Occupy.
Happy birthday, Occupy Wall Street.
To all those who were part of it.
All right, let's get into. Please click the like and the thumbs up and all that stuff. Also, I have 3 tour dates coming up in London, Berlin, and Stockholm. Please check.
You always say those backwards.
Yeah, I don't know why. Meaning
Stockholm is first, yes. Berlin is second, and London is third. Don't get confused.
I just mentioned that I don't do dates, all right? I don't know what day it is, where I am. You people always want your days to come in order. Oh, look, 7 comes before 5 or whatever. I don't know. All right. So
just let him go.
Let's get into Zelensky. And I don't think I need to give this that much context, you all, if you've ever seen a video of mine, you know that from day one, we've been calling out this proxy war. This is the United States trying to isolate Russia because the U.S. empire is waning. That doesn't mean I support Russia's invasion. I'm against the invasion. I'm against war. But in order for us to create this proxy war, we've done things like fund Nazis and Nazi battalions in Ukraine and
stand in the way of peace deals.
Yes, and the most recent, most censored news, that's my new show, The Most Censored News, I covered how we and the UK stopped a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia that was going to be signed back in April. We made sure it did not happen so that war could continue, so that innocent civilians could continue to die. Now, of course, that wouldn't have happened if Zelensky wasn't a puppet. But anyway, here is the latest. This just happened the other day. Zelensky himself posted this. Oh, sorry for that background. Zelensky himself posted this image and then quickly deleted it when people zoomed in.
Yeah, and we're like, wait, what's that?
And they were like, what's that little patch on that guy who's his essentially those are his bodyguards. And they were like, what's that little patch? And they zoomed in and what is that? And then they started comparing things online. And this is an article, by the way, this is Gray Zone, but it's by Alex Rubinstein, great journalist. And here it is next to the less blurred version. This is called the Operator's Skull. It's an explicit reference to Nazi Germany and the
SS.
And the SS. And this is perhaps my favorite part of this entire thing. Alex Rubinstein looked into where you can get the Operator's Skull in Ukraine. It's sold by 3 different places, and it's manufactured by one company. The company is called Reich, as in Third Reich, as in fucking Nazi Germany. Although they put the E as a 3.
I know,
that
right?
That makes it all right, right?
Well, that makes it modern. You know, it's like got that postmodern feel to it, so it makes it all edgy and new, something that kids can relate to.
Right. The Nazis were wondering how to get hot on Instagram.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Yeah, and I think this is especially amazing because people will continue to say forever that Zelensky can't possibly be a Nazi because he's a Jew, which is fucking dumb because it's like saying, oh, this person can't be racist because they're black, or this person can't be sexist because they're a woman, or all of those things are not true.
Or even to just nail it down a little closer, this woman can't be anti-women because she's a woman.
Right.
Whereas there are plenty of women that fucking hate women.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of men that hate men. Like,
right. And so I think it's very important to recognize that Zelensky is what he is, which is a useful idiot for I say the West, but basically for the U.S. empire and its tag-alongs like the UK. And part of that useful idiocy is that he's a Jew and that people can point to that and be like, well, he couldn't possibly. But in fact, as we have photo evidence, and this is not the only photo evidence, I mean, there's plenty of images of Nazi symbols on Ukrainian fighters. They're Nazis, and it's just all you have to do is look at some fucking pictures. Like you don't even have to know how to read to see.
Yeah,
that they're Nazis.
And for those of you who might try and find the benefit of the doubt in this and go, and I've had some liberals try and say this kind of shit to me where they go, well, there might be some Nazis in their military, but there's some Nazis in the US military too. And it's like, no, the Nazis in the Ukrainian military have essentially taken over. They are the power behind the Ukrainian military. Like, and as a former UN weapons inspector, I had him on for an interview. Scott Ritter said, they're the most violent element in the Ukrainian military, so they control everything else because those who are willing to just fucking shoot people because they disagree with them are generally can push around the people who are in that military with them who are not willing to do that kind of shit. And so, yes, they may only be a contingent of the Ukrainian military, but they are the powerhouse of the Ukrainian military. Hence why even Zelensky's bodyguards are these fucking Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I thought there was one other thing in here. Oh no, maybe not. But anyway, and so then they try and take this down. Zelensky tried to have it deleted. And for some odd reason, the internet's remembered. I don't know what happened there. But
if only the corporate media would remember, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so corporate media doesn't mention this at all. The AP, every once in a while, the corporate media will accidentally show some of this stuff. The AP, Associated Press, they posted a tweet with an image that the tweet said like a brave Azov battalion soldier killed in battle, and here's a photo of his funeral, and it shows his fellow Azov fighters in front of his casket, which has a fucking Nazi symbol
like
on
the giant SS
casket
symbol on it. Like it's huge.
It's like does the AP not care anymore that they're? It's amazing. But so here is shite. Here is, by the way, everybody, please, for those of you just joining us, please hit the like, hit the share, do all that stuff. I am the most censored comedian on the internet. My main YouTube channel deleted or banned globally. Over 1,000 videos banned globally. My other podcast deleted by Spotify. So the only way people see any of my shit is by you guys sharing it, letting people know. And by the way, I am now completely independent. I'm not connected to anything. There's no corporate sponsors. It's all you guys. So thank you for being here. But on this same topic, I know this is from a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't cover it then because I didn't have time. And so it fits well with this one. Jon Stewart just gave a Medal of Honor to a Nazi. He was at Disney World. To a Nazi at Disney World. Does that not sound like an Onion headline?
Dude, I feel like the people who believe in simulation theory, which is just God for tech geeks, this must be like a fucking field day.
I know.
Like, look, you can't possibly think this is real. Fucking Jon Stewart giving a Nazi a medal with Mickey Mouse in the background. Like, when did you think you'd see these three images together? It's remarkable.
It'd be like here's a news story that says here's Charlie Sheen celebrating Pol Pot at Universal Studios, and you're like, what?
Although I feel like Charlie Sheen probably would do that. Or what was it, like a few years ago or like a decade ago, that he was, having those drug-induced moments and saying some crazy ass shit? I feel like he probably would have done that at that point.
It's been a few years, but I don't know that he's like with it now. Anyway, sidetrack. So this is the Ukrainian soldier that was there, and as you can see in this photo he's posted, he has a Nazi SS symbol. It's like a spider web type thing. Yeah, it's a well-known. Oh yeah, it's called the Black Sun or the Nazi Sonnenrad. And so this is a well-known Nazi symbol. As you can see, it's got like the little Nazi things interwoven, and that's his elbow.
That's his elbow.
That's his elbow. And so then he's at this Department of Defense Warrior Games,
which I just wow.
And it's Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Space Force. I mean, even the fact that Jon Stewart would celebrate that. Does Jon Stewart have no understanding? He spent years, honestly, I'm not going to act like most of Daily Show didn't do a lot of liberal shit, but he spent years criticizing our military for like Iraq and Afghanistan and stuff. And so why does he think he needs to, in retirement, fucking celebrate everything Army, Marine Corps, Navy? I'm just
curious, Warrior Games, like, is there anything more insensitive than just
acting like it's a game?
Right. Than conflating a game with the ultimate mass loss of life? Like, you fucking sociopaths.
So here he is, and here is him giving a medal to that same guy, and very politely that guy has covered up his Nazi emblem with like a compression sleeve. Now, people may rightly say Jon Stewart did not know he was handing a medal to a Nazi. However, if Jon Stewart did the lowest level of research, He would know that the U.S. is funding and arming Nazis in Ukraine. So he would know that handing medals to those who fought in Ukraine probably has some connection to Nazis. Like, you wouldn't have to spend that much time on the old Google machine to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, just incredible. Oh, here they are again at Disney World, having a blast.
I mean, it does make sense that they're at Disney, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, because he was an anti-Semite, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've come full circle here. I think I feel like that makes sense.
I mean, just look at these guys. Tell me some of them you aren't thinking Nazi.
Especially the guy on the far right. I mean, I don't know what he looks like. He looks like the bad guy in Fifth Element.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. What the fuck is his name that has the weird like little animal that sits on his desk?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Played by Gary Oldman. You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Gary Oldman. Yeah.
That guy totally looks like that. This is okay. We're now just like a shittier version.
Literally, Jon Stewart's handing a medal to a guy with the black evil ooze running down the Hershey's syrup running down his face.
Oh God.
But so there we are, folks. Good old Jon Stewart handing out Nazi medals. And honestly, like, if you were to give him all the benefit of the doubt in the world, I would say that this is the end conclusion. When you decide to spend your time at events celebrating the U.S. military or the U.S. who we're funding in our military games, you are going to end up in these situations because we are an empire funding other brutal regimes and shit, working with Saudi Arabia to create a genocide in Yemen, etc. So if you are going to be at these events handing out medals or celebrating or giving speeches or giving high fives and shit, you are going to end up supporting what the U.S. empire supports. And Jon Stewart knows that much, at least, because he knows that the U.S. empire supports the proxy war in Ukraine. And I would assume, let's hope. And so it's like, even if he doesn't know this guy's a Nazi, you should know that you're involved in this shit. Like, I don't know.
But I feel like I don't expect much from Jon Stewart, really.
Yeah, I know. When I was a young lad in college, he was quite the impressive figure.
I watched Jon Stewart and Colbert, for sure. But then you, as George Carlin put it, you reach the age of reason, and then you stop believing in people like this.
You reach the age of reason, and you're like, hey, maybe they don't represent all I thought they did. But yes. Anyway, all right, let's get to the next story. And in a minute, I'm going to show that epic destruction of Piers Morgan, which is, I promise you, it's worth it. So we're not going to go to rumble.com, just rumble.com/LeeCamp exclusively yet, but that I'm going to show at rumble.com/LeeCamp. It's free to go there, and that's where the rest of the live stream will be in a few minutes. But we are going to do this next story about EU Parliament right here with everybody.
Right here, right now.
Right here with everybody.
Right here, right now.
Do you need me to have it on the screen?
The song or the...
Or
no.
Are you reading it off yours?
I'm reading it off mine, but I was taking a music break. But anyway, it's fine. Whatever.
Musical interlude. If you need a musical interlude,
no, it's fine, Lee. I understand that you don't want to have any fun.
By the way, everybody, Eleanor is an epic singer-songwriter, and you should check out.
Aren't we misusing the word epic there?
Normally, yes,
I'm not like
but in that case, no. You are
over the
fucking
fjords
epic.
of Norway or some shit.
I think I did this rant the other day on some other live stream where I was talking about the burger place we saw where they were like, epic burgers. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I think we're not using epic right.
Yeah. Epic burgers. And it was like unbelievable beer. I'm like, what makes a beer unbelievable?
So I'm putting in the comment thread. Check out Eleanor's new album called No Solo.
It's not really new anymore.
Okay. And her old band, Rooftop Revolutionaries.
Well, you gotta put. Okay, well, Rooftop Revolutionaries you can just look up on Spotify, but the No Solo you gotta put where to find it.
If they Google it, it
your
won't come
PR is not great. I gotta say.
I didn't want to spend half an hour typing while people are
It takes
watching.
Half an hour? I don't think so.
Oh, right.
What are you, like the Hunt and Peck typer?
What are we, Gracie and Alan? Can we?
I don't know who that is. Okay. So, the EU Parliament voted basically around the concept of deforestation. And this is because the EU is responsible for some 10% of global deforestation. And so they decided, hey, maybe we should like say something about this. We should do something about this, which I'm all for. However, well, there's a however, but I'll get to that. I don't want to rain too hard on the parade at the beginning. I'll rain on the back of the parade with the floats that nobody cares about. So the commission proposal was for a regulation on deforestation-free products. And basically what this means is it's places that basically are not deforested or at high risk of deforestation. And the products include that would be under this law include cattle, cacao, coffee, palm oil, soy, and wood. Wait,
cows and cacao? All right. Are they is this a sketch?
And this includes products that would contain these, such as leather, chocolate, and furniture. Parliament also wants to include pig meat, sheep and goats, poultry, maize, and rubber, as well as charcoal and printed paper products. And so the push is a good one. I'm not trying to take away from that. I think it's absolutely positive to have a push to deal with deforestation and to say things like, we have to do something about this. We can't just accept that that the deforestation is a foregone conclusion, and the EU bears a large responsibility for this. This was 27 nations as a member of the EU. And as I mentioned, EU is responsible for around 10% of global deforestation. And Christoph Hansen, who was the lawmaker in charge of the Parliament's report, said that we have no choice but to ramp up our efforts to halt global deforestation. So a group pointed out that this could be the beginning of the end of the money pipeline that's destroying forests around the world, but only if national governments across the EU step up and support this plan to make European banks deforestation free in negotiations on the final law. So, sorry, I'm pulling from a different article now.
That's fine.
Okay. I didn't mean to ruin your ability to highlight.
That's okay.
So basically what this would mean is that people would have to mark their products as deforestation free, or not pulling from quote unquote degraded land. And so this would force companies and producers to give assurances. So here's the thing. I
love corporate assurances. I'm a big fan of corporate assurances. Every time Bank of America goes, right, we're not fucking over anyone. Every time they say anything like that, you just tell they're sitting there going, we are here to help you.
Right. Now, so there's some push also in a way that's easier to what's it called? Not authorize, but oh God.
I don't know where I'd help.
To ensure that the law is followed. What's that word?
To ensure the law is followed.
Okay.
Enforce?
Enforce. Something that's easier to enforce. Members of the European Parliament also suggested that banks and financial institutions should be prevented from investing in projects linked to deforestation. So not just assurances that the products aren't from deforested areas, but that banks can't even give money. So I think this is all very good, right? However, the loopholes are massive. And I'll just share really quickly.
Always big gaping holes. Anytime our government or the EU does something positive, just gaping holes.
Well put.
I feel like that should be their slogan. It should be on the flag. We're the EU.
Gaping holes.
Enjoy our gaping holes.
You know, the flag is actually just a big.
Oh, it is a circle. Yeah. Ah,
so you just need like an abyss.
That's how they came up with it. They were like, what can represent all of our nations, but also our gaping holes?
Okay, so the issue here is, of course, assurances, as Lee comedically pointed out, assurances from corporations. Please stop clicking around.
Just look over there or something. I gotta do shit. I want
to look at people. I want to talk to people. I don't want to sit like, who wants to see me sit like this? Nobody wants to see me sit like this. It seems like I'm completely disinterested in what's going on here. I want to connect with people.
All right. I also want to run this fucking show.
Okay. But can you run your show when I'm not in the middle of
when you're not looking?
Yes. Run it behind my back. Okay. God, it's so hard to find good help these days.
Oh, and here I have been fighting for weeks for a dental plan. Now I'm not even sure I'll keep this job. I might get fired.
So, man, we should go to one of those countries that has like free healthcare. Anyway.
Wait, there's countries with free healthcare? Hold on.
So basically the issues with this are manifold, and obviously the biggest one is enforcement, and assurances from corporations are about as good as the toilet paper that you wipe your ass with. However, there's another issue here, and that's with, let's say that a company is it tries to get, wants to play along with this, right? And says, thank you. Your comment has been noted. Don't fire Lee Camp. I will consider it. Thank you. So let's say that there is a company that wants to play along. Folks might be familiar with FSC. It's a stamp that is on a lot of wood products that you might find at like Home Depot and shit. And it basically suggests that this wood comes from sustainable logging practices, which is an oxymoron, of course. But
what is FS? I don't even know this. What's it stand for?
So it's the Forest Stewardship Council. And I actually, this is something that I talk about in a documentary that I have coming out shortly. But FSC certification is absolutely fucking bogus. And yet, when you go and buy that, it's kind of like if you were to see like this is made from recycled plastic or some shit. It makes you feel good because FSC
It's like when it's like when they write natural on the package.
Right.
It's like, what is it natural? The only thing that doesn't say natural on is Skittles.
Well, because there is some point where they just can't. But don't they also say like natural flavors? And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, natural flavors.
It means it doesn't say any flavors you've never heard of. That's all natural flavoring means.
So
they're not making up words.
So FSC is linked to deforestation all over the world, stealing land from indigenous peoples and tribes, clear-cutting forests everywhere from Chile to Russia, and basically not at all fucking sustainable. It's industrial logging, industrial clear-cutting. And yet there's a stamp that you can put on those products, like IKEA, for instance. All of their wood products are FSC certified. Well, but what the fuck does that mean? If the certification is actually not genuine, then this whole law, for instance, is bullshit. It means nothing, because then companies can still go get this certified sustainable product, sell it in the EU. The EU gets to feel good about it. But in reality, if you look at the root of this product, it's completely unsustainable, completely detrimental to ecosystems and the people who rely on them. And so the whole chain is completely degraded by the fact that you're focusing on a certification or you're focusing on an assurance. But these are meaningless. These words are meaningless unless you have a way to enforce the root level, the root cause of these problems. So while I think that, moving to highlight these issues and moving to shift away from deforestation and degraded land, that's very wonderful. But again, if you're not looking at the root cause and you're only looking to companies to assure you that shit is done well, we're going to be in the same fucking position that we're in now after the passage of this law if it passes. So I guess, I'm that person at the party that tells you that this law that just got passed that you're really stoked about is bullshit. So
it is tough because it is every once in a while you'll see these things that seem positive on the face, and you don't want to always just say anything positive is negative, but you and I kind of are very attached to or into like the real world, like knowing what reality is and not just listening to the bullshit we're sold. And so, just because something sounds good, it's like, let's look into what this really means. It's like when Joe Biden says he's going to get rid of $10,000 of student loan debt. I support that. I had said in my coverage of it, I support him getting rid of this $10,000. However, A, hasn't happened yet. B, it's only for a certain percentage of borrowers. C, many of them have far more than $10,000. D, you have to apply to get it, and who knows how many they're going to give it to. Even if they give it to everyone who applied, the application process ends in like December. So maybe there's going to be a lot of people that don't know or don't find it or can't do it or whatever and don't get that $10,000 wiped out. So I think knowing that reality is, and also let's point out that Joe Biden created the fucking student loan crisis by making it that you can't declare bankruptcy or get out of that loan debt.
But Trump can file for bankruptcy 6 times.
6 minimum, yeah. He's thousands of lawsuits where he hasn't paid people. But anyway, the point being, like, I think even when something sounds positive, like, let's see, is it as positive as we think? Like, because sometimes these things are just a sticker. They're just a fucking natural sticker on the cover of whatever. And if that's the case, then that's worse than nothing. Because I'm not saying this is, I don't know all the details, but if it's just a sticker on the front that says, don't worry, you can go back to Apathyville, and everyone's like, awesome, then that's actually worse than doing nothing.
Yeah. Well
put. Thanks for covering that story.
Thanks.
And I thought I'd give everyone just a little comic relief before we just go to rumble.com/leaguecamp. Many of you are already watching over there. Some of you are not watching over there, but this will continue for free. That was a World War I propaganda song?
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's kind of funny.
It does sound fun, doesn't it? So
because the Yanks are
coming. Can I just?
Okay.
I don't actually want to. All right. I know I have to throw these things in there, otherwise people won't know what the fuck's happening. But I hate doing these things, so I kind of just want to get it over with.
What?
So, going over to Rumble. Everybody go to rumble.com/leaguecamp. The fucking promotion of the shit. Just let me finish this. It's all unraveling. Everybody go to rumble.com/leaguecamp. All right, fuck it.
You could type it into the chat thing and then maybe more people.
I was going to do that too, but then I got caught up and you said I couldn't change the screen. So now I can't go get the link.
No, I'm done talking. So you can do whatever you want with the screen.
Okay. So as long as I'm focused on talking, I should then spend that time surfing other sites. So okay. Yeah.
Don't do my time. This is your time.
This is employee abuse. Where's OSHA when you need them? So this happened today or yesterday. Did a truck crash spill sex toys on I-40 in Oklahoma City? And here's the thing. I haven't seen investigative journalism this thorough and impressive in our mainstream media or mainstream adjacent in fucking years. Like, the amount of digging they must have done, it's pretty impressive. And by the way, Snopes, garbage site, don't go to it. Don't use it. Garbage and shite. Don't go to it. Don't use it. However, I'm not that worried about I'm not that worried about this story, them lying on this story. But Snopes was bought out years ago, and now on anything that involves U.S. empire or propaganda or whatever, they basically just side with CNN or some shit. So anyway, you go down the story because I saw this in a tweet, and when I saw that this was a Snopes article, I was like, oh, people are joking that it looked like sex toys, but it wasn't actually sex toys. But then you go through the article, and hopefully you can see there's like 2 trucks totally over, everything spilled out on the highway, and you get down to You get down to the and I watched this clip. I don't know, it's worth watching. It's just he's just saying, "Oh, there's been a terrible accident on the highway. Everybody be prepared for this." Da, da, da. And they ask him, they say, "What were the trucks filled with?" And he's like, "I can't really tell. I don't know. Seems to be some sort of liquid out there." But then you get down here. They have zoomed in with some impressive zooming skills, and they're like, "This image certainly does look like the G-Spot touch vibrator." And then the back of the package looks like this hand image of the G-Spot vibrator that goes on your hand like a glove.
So is that like a little antenna on the egg part there? What? I'm just perplexed.
Where does the egg go? Who's got the egg?
Bend over, I'll show you.
Who's got the egg is what I want to know.
Wait, but I don't see the egg is not represented on the finger photo. So I'm a little confused. Is the egg where you insert the finger?
I assume the egg goes in their mouth. The finger goes in the nostril.
Wait, but here's my question. If it fits on your finger, I don't know. No.
No what?
Well, because the whole point of the vibrator is that you don't have to use your finger. If I have to use my finger, then there's no point.
Right. That's a fair point, that you could assume the finger could do the vibrating.
Right. I don't need a piece of rubber on my finger. I have my finger. The whole point of the extra, digit is that I don't have to use my own.
So you're upset with the amount of work that would go into...
Yeah, in which case, good riddance to these, because they're useless, in my opinion.
I will give this piece of advice. Folks, if you're on like a first date or something, don't show up with this on your hand. Don't lead with this.
I have to say, if somebody showed up to a first date with that on their hand, I'd be like, okay, you have my attention. I am so intrigued by the kind of human being that you are.
Don't walk in with the egg. Anyway, long story short, these two trucks dumped lube and vibrators all across the highway, and it is one of the best stories of the day.
And I think it's the best reporting that Snopes has done in a long time.
Best Snopes has done in a long time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, folks. If you're watching at rumble.com/LeeCamp, this will continue there. I'm going to get the link for you to this direct video, but obviously you can find it at rumble.com/LeeCamp. All right, here is the link to this live stream. You can join us right there, and we will continue there. And I'm about to show this amazing video of Piers Morgan getting fucking shredded by some sort of elongated vibrator. Like, that is how hard he is fucked in this upcoming. All right, musical interlude.
Well, you can't just
over there.
No. Although, at my high school in North Carolina, we sang Dixie.
Yeah, my high school was the mascot was the Confederate Rebels.
Yeah.
We were named after the top Confederate propagandist, the school.